This case involves exactly what you're seeing right there. These are convicted felons, including Mr. Barry, who's coming into our town with shotguns, looking for trouble.
You don't see me with a shotgun. I don't need a shotgun.
You got a shotgun right behind you, don't you?
Absolutely.
There might be somebody behind me having one to protect me from stupid idiots like you.
Yeah, right.
Hello, I'm Casey Kasem. You're about to see something unique. You read about him in the New York Times and USA Today. The NAACP has called Avery Friedman a true freedom fighter. The U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives invite Avery to speak as an expert. So now he's going to share that expertise with you.
Try to get them on the factor. Of course, they don't.
Right.
They're not as courageous as Aaron. They won't come on and discuss their point of
Bill,
view.
they punked out on you last time. They acknowledged that they have regrets about what they did, and they agreed that they're going to have to go to bad boy school. They have to go to constitutional law instruction.
How embarrassing.
They felt that if you support American policy against Afghanistan, that it would offend some kid whose parents came from Jordan.
Did they bring any parents who said I would be offended if Aaron's posters were posted?
They first made the assumption that that was the case. When it got right down to it, Bill, there was no evidence.
Nobody.
It is unique jurisprudentially in the history of man.
Our legal expert, Avery Friedman, is standing by. There he is, and he'll answer some of them next on CNN Sunday Morning.
Avery Friedman, explain the setup behind this, behind this scam, this prostitution ring, will you?
John, this is a paramilitary operation. This is one story of 700,000 where a young woman took that chance, and maybe she'll inspire other young women.
God, I hope so. You got a great SWAT team here to help you. You really got a great SWAT team.
Guess what? The subpoena power that the board was supposed to have was deleted. The only thing I would have to agree with is now that Amber's going to be off the stand, America's going to be better because we're not going to have to look at Gloria anymore, and I think that's right.
Avery Friedman, thanks for your analysis, and always good to have you on our program.
Here to answer that is renowned civil rights attorney Avery Friedman.
Civil rights attorney Avery Friedman has been following this case.
He had a chance to hold the law unconstitutional, and you know what? He didn't. However, there's an exception to that. This is a riveting development.
We have reasonable belief and some credible evidence that Natalie Holloway is alive.
It's alive.
Is alive.
Natalie Holloway, from the perspective of the sex slavers, is way too dangerous.
This is going to wind up in the Ringling Brothers Hall of Fame.
So used to watching you guys fight about things. We come on your show, you're agreeing with us all the way.
You brought us together on this one. You've
exactly
done,
right.
The school board, actually, we have to thank for bringing Hannity and Combs together on this one.
Exactly.
Avery, it's been 5 years in the making.
Let's talk. This is what it took.
And so for people like, when you got sent down to the
Never
principal,
happened to Hannity, not to me.
Oh, is that right? Well, when Sean got sent down to the principal, this is for you.
It was regularly. By the way, I'd go for, you know, pain and suffering, loss of wages, potential income, you know, there's all these. Listen, your attorney, Avery will tell you all about it, Aaron. You'll be fine.
Wow. Avery, can you help us understand how it is possible that this sex ring was active for 8 years?
It took one young lady to bust the operation. It's astonishing, but then we know that there are 700,000 young people in America who
So to call it even new evidence, you know, it's a fine line.
Well, it's evidence. The question is what way Judge Greer is going to give to it, and you nailed the point.
Public administrators and government law enforcement who are all required, what, 5, 6, 7 of them? It's way out of line.
What do you think is going to happen?
Well, there's no possible way.
Let's ask law professor and civil rights attorney Avery Friedman.
Did they make that case?
It's going to be difficult to make that case, Wolf.
Avery.
Well, I think it's a rip snorter. You've got a conservative judge, a rip snorter, and let me tell you why.
He has been called a walking reference source on civil rights law. Avery, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Betty.
Good morning.
You
Well,
want to start?
Yeah, with a title like that, we've got to put you to the test. So.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
To a prostitute in a sex slave ring to falling in the arms of her mother and father.
Wow.
Did a switcheroo here. What we saw was 6-3 protecting the personal rights of people who are terminally ill. Mohammed's got to go up in flames.
Now, maybe he's an unreasonable guy. He doesn't answer our questions, so maybe that's the case.
He could have been here. He's not here.
Absolutely.
The bottom line is, I frankly think an armed deputy in a courtroom is inappropriate.
And we'll talk about the case with our legal eagles. Avery Friedman is a civil rights attorney and law professor.
Are all of a sudden prepared to give up 6 months of their life?
How do you think that's going to play with the jury?
Well, you know, this is a bizarre case, Andrew. What he did was carefully tailor an order to balance the rights of the accused with the rights of the victim.
With us, civil rights attorney and law professor Avery Friedman.
The alleged question, the alleged judge, the alleged jury.
Is this admissible in court?
And instead of sending the material back to the judge and the lawyers, this clerk actually sent it to 7 media outlets. Oh my goodness. He's a bad guy. He's no different than Al-Qaeda. He's a bad guy.
That's a strong statement.
And you know what? I like this decision because I think federal judges don't need to be boxed in. And I represent reporters. Edie, California actually had a chance to do exactly what AJ has indicated, and last week rejected it, deciding that local government is in the best position of making those decisions. They're going to keep him in San Quentin for the rest of his life. Very good observation, Frederica.
What will the prosecution and the defense strategy be going into the sentencing phase?
And are the Schindlers out of options?
Yeah.
That's
the
it?
ball game is over. Judge John Kodal, the federal district judge, has discretion, but you know what? She's got one of the best lawyers in America, Michael Tiger. It's heading for the Court of Appeals. And I think I'm the first guy to say this. We're looking for a conviction right now. In fact, Bob Morvillius, who represents Martha Stewart, has done the right thing.
It's now time, ladies and gentlemen, for the CNN simultaneous response of the night. Roll it.
Why is it that this case should be treated any differently?
Well, I don't think it should be treated any different.
It's the CNN, the simultaneous response of the night.
Avery Friedman will be back later this hour to answer your legal questions.
To me, I think that the question becomes whether or not the respect of restraint between the two branches of government.
It's still the separation of powers.
Exactly.
This case is not, it is a great constitutional case on one level, but you know what? I think you could have won this case in federal court.
Well, I don't know about that, but all I know is that I'm glad it happened. You're not powerless out there. If you're right, stick to your guns. Fight it. Get a good lawyer like Counselor Friedman, and just go for it. We appreciate you guys coming on, and good luck to you, okay?
Thanks, Bill.
All right.
We know you have questions, and our legal expert will give you some answers.
Every American, if you're accused of a crime, is entitled to trial by jury.